Is David Fizdale a good coach? The question on everybody's mind as he appears to be poised to potentially be the scapegoat for the Knicks' early season failures. I decided to take a look in depth. I spent 7 years working in the NBA, watched a ton of games in a ton of detail, more than you could ever imagine. I decided to take an in-depth look at the Dallas game in full, see how the Knicks are playing, if they're playing according to a system, if they're playing hard, if they're doing things the right way, basically the measures of a good coach in my opinion. Make sure you follow on Twitter at ScoutWithBryan, Instagram, ScoutWithBryan Podcast, everywhere ScoutWithBryan for all your most in-depth basketball coverage. And let's take a look at the film. First of all, you hear a lot of criticisms. Oh, they don't run any plays. They just do ISOs, all these things. Not really true. From my taking a look at the game film, I mean, it seems they're playing a ton out of this delay set, which is basically the main offense pretty much every team in the league runs, with Draymond up top, Jokic up top, Towns up top, all the bigs that can handle the ball. Tons of teams are running their offense through them up top, and then it's basically just split game on both sides. It's pinned down into a dribble handoff, which ends up creating a wide open, basically free throw line pull-up for Marcus Morris. You got to make that shot ultimately at the end of the day. A lot of people have a tendency to overlook the little things defensively. These things are coaching too. These things are what you work on in practice every single day, all at training camp. Here in the pick and roll with Porzingis, you see they want to switch it. Morris switches on the ball. Frank does a great job quickly veering back to Porzingis. Great dig by R.J. Barrett, even off the shooter and Seth Curry. Great job stunting at the ball right there. Really good contest by Frank. Great box out. And then coming down, we have Randall handling the ball again. Again, this is not just ISO basketball. This is, again, delay action. Chicago pinned down right into a dribble handoff. You got the floor space. You got 5 out, just like Milwaukee plays, just like Houston plays, just like all the top offenses play. They're going to hit, do two-man game, pick and roll. Ends up getting RJ all the way to the basket for a layup. That's good, solid, modern-day NBA offense. And then the defense, like I said, a lot of switching. But once again, these things take time. They take a lot of practice to be able to execute even something like this correctly. You see Morris is going to switch on a Doncic. Porzingis being guarded by Frank. They don't love that matchup, so Randall's going to come kick him out. Frank's going to scramble out to the corner, finish the play with the rebound. Look at this one here. Again, you might think some switching in the NBA is lazy. The Knicks switching is not lazy. These are all contact switches, all something that they've clearly practiced a lot. Dallas loves this double stagger screen for Hardaway, screen away. Watch as they switch first Gibson onto Hardaway. They see Powell Xing and cutting from the top. Morris does a great job switching onto him. Hardaway's going to cut again right off Porzingis. They're going to switch again. Gibson onto Porzingis right here. That was a whole bunch of switches, all done really effectively, all really locked in. You see RJ then coming to cover down off the corner as Randall goes to help. RJ's job, cover down right here on the big man. Does his job well, results in a steal. Another measure of good coaching after timeout plays. People love to point to the analytics. Overall, Fiz's ATOs statistically might not be great. Doesn't mean they're not still well-run, intelligent plays. Here they're going to set a pin down for Randall to go right into a high pick and roll for R.J. Barrett. And Morris is going to come off this corner, little pinch screen from Gibson. The defense goes under the screen, results in a wide open three for R.J. Barrett that he just happens to clank. Still a really good play. Another thing I like to look for in coaches, having some things that are different in the league, that aren't widespread. I saw that from the Knicks in this kind of funky 2-3, 1-3-1-ish matchup zone. They love to run out of sideline, out of bounds. It was really confusing Dallas, keeping them guessing for a lot of the night. They were having a lot of trouble trying to figure out the open spots in this zone. Just something, again, different, something that takes a lot of practice. Here, again, you say they don't run any pick and rolls. I say this is pistol, a common NBA set run by almost every team in the league. People ask, why don't they run 10 million pick and rolls with Mitchell Robinson? Well, it's hard. Dennis Smith Jr., Elfrid Payton in particular, Frank, they're point guards that defenses try to go under against a lot. But here they do a good job forcing Seth Curry to go over the screen by setting it a little bit lower. Dennis does a great job turning the corner, getting to the middle, forcing Porzingis to come help. That creates a dump off for Mitchell Robinson for the dunk. Here we're going to run a simple drag screen in transition. This is just not so much on the coaching. This is just poor offensive execution. This is Dennis Smith Jr. needs to wait for the screen. Randall needs to actually set it, not just slip out of it. But then, okay, the ball goes here. Are they just going to stop and play ISO basketball? No, they don't. Again, this is not a called play, but this is the stuff you work on in practice. This is just their style. Mitch is going to go right into a step up for Kevin Knox, who really has probably an open pull-up right there. Doesn't put a ton of pressure on the defense, kicks it out to RJ. Now we're playing drive and kick game, and he just makes a poor read, turns the ball over. Again, coaching, or is that just not having the personnel to really be effective? Here we see, okay, later in the first quarter, it's 14-11. We've got basically our second unit in the game now. Are we still going to run plays? Are we still going to execute? This is another common NBA set, kind of a horns dive look. It's going to create basically a role for Mitchell Robinson with a single side tag. Only Dotson's man is the only guy who can tag on him. Dennis Smith Jr. just needs to read this better, quite frankly. He needs to go at Boban. Boban's not really doing anything to stop the ball. He needs to drive this ball all the way in this gap right here, maybe get all the way for his floater, or maybe open up the lob pass to Mitchell at the last second. Instead, he kind of predetermines, jumps up in the air, tries to make that skip pass, but turns it over. Again, people love to say, if you talk to 50 different basketball coaches, you'll get 50 different ideal rotations, plays to run for a group. There's a lot of different ways to skin a cat, a lot of different ways to run offense. To me, I mean, this is, you got Portis and Mitchell at the bigs. You got Dennis handling the ball. You got Dotson, a versatile guy in the game. You got Knox. This is just not a great team. But I really don't understand how people think any rotation could be so much better than the way he's doing it. Rotations are guesswork. They're feel. Coaches mess up all the time. They do it right all the time. You just ultimately, have to go with your gut, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Here was another common NBA set, staggered screen for Dotson, right back into the hand back for Frank, pitch, two-man game, a lot of movement, a lot of motion. I don't really understand the criticisms that they're not doing a lot offensively. That was a really active offensive play with a whole bunch going on. You see they're going to switch there. Dennis Smith Jr. onto Boban now. Now we're going to switch this again right here. Now we got Knox on Boban. They're going to roll Boban down to the post, so we're going to switch Mitch onto him there. Knox is going to go scramble out to the corner. Defense is multiple efforts. The Knicks do a good job. You see Dennis Smith Jr. going to switch onto the ball here. Kleber rolls again. We have Portis and Mitchell pull in. Great block by Mitchell Robinson. That's 5 guys on a string. That's 5 guys in tune. And that's basically what defense is about. We see another pin down here into a high pick and roll, this time for Kevin Knox. You see RJ's was designed for him to go left. Knox is designed for him to go right, which gets him to his right-hand floater. Good play. Young, developing player, still has a lot to learn. Speaking of a lot to learn, here was a play I showed you so many times. The Knicks basically switching pick and rolls. So Mitchell goes to switch this pick and roll. Problem? Knox doesn't. He keeps pursuing. Now we have 2 on the basketball. Now Boban ends up being wide open under the basket. Mitchell has to foul him and 1. I should have left that clip running a little bit longer, but Mitchell was pissed at Frank afterwards. You can see him even pointing right here. That's something, people think Frank should play more. People think Knox should play more. These are young players in the NBA. You have to understand what your team's doing defensively and do things the right way. Another set play here. Probably an ATO or maybe just another play that I've seen them run a few times. This is C4, tight curl, 4 off the post. A lot of teams will just run this for a post-up, try to throw it inside right there. I like the Knicks, though. If it's not open, they swing the ball into Dotson, setting a cross screen for Portis. Screen the screener action. Mitchell pins down on Dotson. We're going to go into high pick and roll. Dotson beats it away from the screen. Drive and kick out to Portis in the corner for an open 3. Again, nice execution, way to keep playing. You say they don't run pick and rolls. Once again, here's another one out of a sideline, out of bounds. Here, the idea is to get Dennis Smith Jr. to his right hand, where the only single side tag comes off Portis, the 4-man. But again, you see defenses are going to live with Dennis Smith Jr., Frank, those guys stopping behind to shoot 3. So you see Brunson go all the way underneath the screen. Dennis is still able to work his way all the way down to take an uncontested 2-footer, which he just happens to meet. miss, but okay, we get the offensive rebound. Now what do? Let's go to another pick and roll. We're going to run the side pick and roll this time. Since we know they're going under, we're going to set it lower. This is coaching. This is an adjustment. Not necessarily telling him on the fly, but I'm sure they work with Mitchell Robinson all the time, telling him defenses try to go under on our point guards all the time, so you've got to set these screens right at the elbow. You've got to set them lower and lower because he can't go under that one. That one's too low to get under. Dennis Smith Jr. turns the corner. Porzingis has to help. Lob pass, open, easy jam. Again, I'm sure they would love to run as much pick and roll as they can. You just can't run it 70 times a game, especially with point guards that can't shoot the ball. This was a chin-type cut into a high split action. Portis tight curls it into a high pick and roll for Dotson. He even does a good job playing, reading out of the pick and roll. Another pick and roll creates an open three. Dennis Smith Jr. had a really good game. Nice to see him back. This was another after timeout play right here. Does it result in 2 points? No, but it is a well-drawn-up play. Damian Dotson, the back pick right there, creates a wide-open alley-oop for Mitchell Robinson. Passes just a little off the mark. But once again, smart play that's pretty common around the league. Set the stagger away. Dotson's going to tight curl it. Portis is going to pop out. And then really, it was all a decoy to get to this back screen for an alley-oop. Should be 2 points. Well-drawn-up ATO. After free throw, another thing a little different. You obviously don't see much of this around the league. Looks like they're in kind of a little 1-2-2 type full court press, falling back into a zone. Again, going to that funky little 2-3, 2-1-2, whatever you want to call it, which again really just messed Dallas up. They just didn't know really how to attack this. You see the Knicks do a good job communicating, helping on cutters, staying down on the shot fake. Great disciplined defense there to force a shot clock violation. Again, 99% of teams in the NBA are running the same plays. What it's really about is just execution, how hard you run it. This is just a simple swing into a side pick and roll. I love Dennis Smith Jr. cutting all the way down to get out of there. I love running it for R.J. Barrett to get to his left hand. I love setting the screen low so that you get a good piece of Luka. And now this backside is cleared out. So Mitchell Robinson has nobody behind to help. And if Porzingis steps up to stop the ball, great lob pass by RJ. Again, and get Mitchell the lob dunk. Here we're going to run this delay action again. Julius Randle handling up top. Again, defense goes way under. That's a wide open, uncontested shot. Basically, any coach in the league is going to take this jumper. It's, again, just a shot that R.J. Barrett has been making okay, but he's got to make this every time if Luka's going to go under this screen right here. Get you a wide open, top of the key jumper. You've got to knock that shot down. Late second quarter, again, we've got a 3-point lead still. Again, looking at the personnel, we've got basically our starting group. We've got Mitchell in the game at the 5. We run a post-up play for RJ. But really, it's even more creative than that. It's to throw the ball to RJ in the post. Dennis Smith Jr. is going to rub screen. He's going to cut hard. This is almost like a pick play in football. He's making it look like he's just cutting through, but really he's trying to almost get a piece of Boban to let Mitchell Robinson come and set that tight pick and roll for R.J. Barrett out of the post to get to his left hand, where, again, the look was potentially the lob to Mitchell Robinson, or R.J. gets all the way for just a missed layup, but then Mitchell's right there since Boban had to help clean it up. Good play, good execution. Simple, effective. Here we're playing in transition. Julius Randle, how about you turn around and look at the basket when you're wide open? Okay, but now, again, we run another pick and roll. Looked like they had switched Curry onto Randle, so we tried to get that matchup. We didn't. Too late. Luka's matched up with him. Got to take that shot at some point. Again, we're going to run multiple pick and rolls, though. We're going to keep the ball moving. R.J. Barrett going to attack the mismatch, get into the paint. Here, the delay action again. 6-point lead, late second quarter. Again, you see the floor is spaced. Defense goes under the first one. Luka right here goes underneath on RJ. So what's the good read? Turn around, rescreen. RJ gets to his right hand this time, but does a great job keeping the defender on his back right here, keeping Luka on his back. Sees two guys pull in to tag Mitchell on the roll. Kick it out. Julius Randle. Corner 3. Good offense, good execution. Is David Fizdale a good coach? Part 2 will be for patrons. I'll look at the whole second half. Go to patreon.com/ScoutWithBryan or click right here to unlock the second part of this video. It'll be emailed to you as soon as it's up tomorrow. It'll be at least 10 minutes of a breakdown of the whole second half. You get a bonus RJ Barrett breakdown, Rui Hachimura breakdown, Karl Anthony Towns, whole bunch more. Make sure you thumb up. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. And again, on Patreon, that's where all the good stuff is. You can unlock it for even $1 a month. We'll unlock that video, all the other bonus videos right away. Really appreciate you guys' support. A lot more coming soon.